The phone started ringing at exactly 2:11 a.m. It wasn't a loud ring, but it was insistent, vibrating against the wooden bedside table with this hollow, mechanical rhythm that felt too deliberate to ignore. Reaching for it through the darkness, the pale blue light of the screen lit up my face and revealed something that made my breath catch in my throat. The Kajeri. It showed my own number, my own name. Before I could even begin to process the impossibility of it, I answered. A whisper slipped into my ear, a voice identical to my own, but strained, urgent, desperate. It said, "Don't trust her. She's not your wife." And then the line went dead. I lay frozen, staring into the dark. Beside me, my wife was sleeping peacefully. Her breathing was soft and steady, her face calm in the faint moonlight filtering through the window. She was so familiar, so real, and yet, something in my chest tightened, a cold knot of dread, as though the very air in the room had changed, become heavier. I told myself it was just a dream, a weird glitch, maybe stress from work getting to me. Anything rational, but when I placed the phone back down on the table, my eyes fell on the clock. It still read to 11 a.m. The glowing red numbers hadn't moved. It was as if the last 30 seconds, the entire impossible phone call, had never happened. Time had just stopped. Now, I couldn't stop watching her. Her stillness seemed unnatural. Her breathing, which had seemed so peaceful moments ago, now sounded almost too rhythmic, too perfect, like a flawless performance of sleep rather than the real thing. Every tiny detail was suddenly suspect. I slid out of bed as quietly as I could, the old wooden floor colder than usual beneath my bare feet. As I walked into the hallway, a strange sensation washed over me, a feeling of being slightly delayed from my own body, like the house itself was processing my movements a fraction of a second too slowly. The refrigerator hummed in the kitchen, but its tone was wrong. It wavered, dipping lower and then rising again, like something was breathing behind it. On the kitchen counter sat a glass of water I didn't remember pouring, and next to it, a folded note. The handwriting was mine. I recognized it instantly, but it was pressed harder into the paper, the grooves deeper, almost desperate. The message was short, just for words. You noticed it too. My pulse began to throb in my ears, a frantic drumbeat against the silence. I tried to remember writing it. I tried to remember anything clearly from the last few days, but my memories felt smudged, blurry, like fingerprints dragged across wet ink. The harder I tried to grasp a solid thought, the more it slipped away. I turned toward the living room, and for a terrifying moment, I was certain the hallway was longer than it should have been, stretching out before me into the shadows. The family photos on the wall seemed normal at first. Glenn's birthdays, vacations, our wedding, all the usual happy moments. But when I stepped closer, he felt a deep, unsettling wrongness. In every single photo where she stood beside me, her expression was subtly different. She wasn't smiling. She wasn't frowning. She was studying me. Her eyes held an awareness, as if she knew something I didn't, as if she was watching me from inside the picture frame. And then I saw it. In one photo from our last anniversary, her hand wasn't resting on my shoulder. It was hovering, millimeters away, not touching me at all. My phone vibrated again. No ringtone this time, just a silent tremor in my hand. A text message. From my own number, it said, "She knows you're awake." I turned slowly, my head feeling heavy, and looked back down the impossibly long hallway toward our bedroom. The silence coming from that room felt thick, dense, expectant. I told myself to breathe. This has to be exhaustion, I thought. Anxiety. There has to be a logical explanation. But then I noticed the bedroom door. It was slightly more closed than when I'd left it. I was certain I had left it wide open. Absolutely certain. I approached it carefully, each step measured and deliberate. My hand trembled as I pushed the door open. And there she was, still lying in bed, exactly as before, the same position, on the same side. Her dark hair spread across the pillow. Too exactly. The sheets hadn't shifted a millimeter. Her breathing hadn't changed its perfect, metronomic rhythm. I just stood there, staring. For how long, I don't know, until slowly, too slowly, her eyes opened. They weren't startled, not confused, just open. And she didn't blink. I felt something inside my chest quietly collapse. She didn't speak. She didn't move. She just watched me from the pillow, her gaze steady and patient, like someone waiting for me to finally understand something painfully obvious. After a long, silent moment, she smiled faintly. It wasn't a warm smile, not a loving one. It was a knowing smile, a smile of victory. I stepped back without even realizing I was moving. I blinked, and just like that, her eyes were closed again. Her breathing was soft and even, as if nothing had ever happened. My phone vibrated one more time. The message: "It's too late now." My hands began to shake uncontrollably. I fumbled with the phone, pulling up my call log. My blood ran cold. There were dozens of outgoing calls to my own number, all placed over the past week, all at exactly 2:11 a.m. All lasting exactly 30 seconds. I didn't remember making a single one of them. My mind raced backward, desperately trying to grab hold of the last few days. But my thoughts felt edited, trimmed down. Entire conversations, entire afternoons were just gone. Missing, like deleted scenes from a film of my own life. Panic finally set in. I started searching the house frantically, pulling open drawers, checking the locks on the doors, scanning every reflective surface, and in the bathroom mirror, for the briefest flicker of a second, I saw him. Myself, standing right behind me, just slightly out of sync with my own movements. His reflection stared a half-second too long before mimicking my terrified stagger backward. I looked again, my breath shallow and ragged. The mirror showed only me, alone. Then I noticed it, something that shattered the last fragile piece of my sanity. On the bedside table, next to where my wife, where she lay sleeping, was my phone. But I was holding my phone in my hand. Slowly, mechanically, I looked down at the device I was gripping. The screen was cracked. The wallpaper was an older photo of us, one I hadn't used in years, and the date displayed at the top of the screen was 3 days in the future. At the top of the screen, one message remained open. "Unsent. If you're reading this, she already replaced her." The bedroom felt colder now, an unnatural, piercing cold, as though the temperature had plummeted without any air moving. I turned back, toward the bed. This time, the shape under the blanket seemed wrong. Slightly too long, and far too still. I stepped closer, each breath a loud, harsh gasp in my ears. With trembling fingers, I reached out and pulled the blanket down. The pillow was there. The indentation of a head was there. But the space beside it was empty. And then, very slowly, from directly behind me, I heard my own voice whisper softly in the dark. "You finally see it." I didn't turn around. I couldn't. And the clock beside the bed clicked from 2:10 to 2:11. The phone began ringing again. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more unsettling tales.